Hi, my name is Natasha Tracy, and this is Breaking Bipolar at HealthyPlace. Today I want to talk about suicidal ideation. So some people don't know what suicidal ideation is, but unfortunately for those of us who have suffered with it, it is all too clear. And suicidal ideation is basically the thoughts about suicide and then possibly also planning suicide. So the thoughts can be extremely vivid and extremely intense, suicidal ideation. They could also be fleeting. It really depends on the individual. For example, suicidal ideation, so just some thoughts about suicide, could happen to anyone. It could just be a stray thought that goes into your head, no big deal. Suicidal ideation, however, can also be extremely obsessive and extremely pronounced and extremely intrusive. So when suicidal ideation is intrusive, what it means is that it comes into your head without an invitation. It just pops in there at any given time. There isn't necessarily any warning. There isn't necessarily any kind of driver towards it. It just shows up there. So suicidal ideation and its co-occurring suicidal planning is actually very, very scary, because often suicidal ideation comes in the form of a movie in your brain or a tape in your brain, and you can actually see your suicide over and over and over again. This is something that happened to me. There was a period of time where all I could do was see my suicide when I closed my eyes. It's a certain kind of suicide. I knew every moment of what was going to happen when I did that suicide. It was almost more real than reality to me, because it was so intrusive and so common, and it was so obsessive. So suicidal ideation can be extremely scary that way. However, suicidal ideation is a thought pattern. It does not necessarily indicate an action pattern. So because a person is experiencing suicidal ideation, it doesn't mean that they will necessarily act on those thoughts of suicide. It doesn't mean that they won't, but it doesn't mean that they will. So it's important to separate the thoughts from the actions. And if you are experiencing suicidal ideation, you need to separate the thoughts from the actions. You need to realize that those thoughts are being put there, likely by a mental illness of some sort. It does not mean you have to listen to them, and it does not mean that you have to act on them. Suicide ideation, I believe, is best handled by a professional, either a therapist or a psychiatrist, probably both. If you are experiencing pronounced suicidal ideation to the point where it does seem obsessive and it is happening to you all the time, likely some sort of medication would be involved in getting that under control. But I no longer have that kind of obsessive suicidal ideation, so I know that you can come back from that. My name is Natasha Tracy, and this is Breaking Bipolar at HealthyPlace.